I'm done with him. Wendy Osefo's words didn't just echo, they detonated across the internet like a scandal-shaped grenade. One second, the internet was sipping morning coffee. The next, everyone was choking on the steam. Because when Wendy, the self-proclaimed queen of elegance and intellect, slammed that divorce file on the table, it wasn't just paperwork. It was payback. You heard me right. The same Wendy who once defended Edward through every fraud rumor, every leaked voicemail, and every "it's not what it looks like" headline, just flipped the script. And now, the question everyone's asking, what finally pushed her over the edge? Was it betrayal, another secret affair, or something darker that even Bravo's cameras couldn't catch? Sources are whispering. And by sources, I mean the internet detectives who haven't slept in 48 hours. That Wendy found something in Edward's phone that made her see red. And we're not talking Valentine's red, we're talking evidence red. Screenshots, hidden accounts, and a mysterious message that starts with, "Delete everything." So buckle up, because this isn't a breakup. This is an implosion. Televised, time-stamped, and dripping with scandal. Wendy Osefo's not crying anymore. She's burning bridges. The line was supposed to be just another rumor drop on gossip blogs, until Wendy herself confirmed it with a legal filing stamped in bold black ink. Petition for dissolution of marriage. That one PDF turned every social feed into a digital courtroom. Screenshots, reaction memes, side-by-side photos of the couple's last public appearance, all of it exploded before noon. Remember when she said she'd never give up on him? One tweet read. Yeah, apparently she meant until he got caught. Within hours, hashtags #DoneWithEdward and #Wendy Files were trending. Talk show panels treated it like a national emergency. Even Wendy's fiercest critics paused mid-hate to ask the same question. What did he do this time? The clues came fast. A grainy clip surfaced from what looked like Edward's private birthday dinner. Champagne, low lighting, and a woman whose face was blurred just enough to make the internet obsessed. The voice on the clip, calm and self-satisfied, could be heard saying, "She'll believe whatever I tell her. She always does." Cue the collective gasp. But if people expected Wendy to go silent, they clearly hadn't learned from the last 3 scandals. She posted a single sentence on X. Every queen eventually outgrows her clown. No tag, no clarification, just digital fire. Paparazzi camped outside her townhouse, hoping for a teary breakdown. Instead, Wendy walked out in oversized sunglasses, iced coffee in one hand, manila folder in the other, the divorce papers. She didn't speak, but the smirk did all the talking. Meanwhile, Edward's PR team scrambled like someone had pulled the fire alarm. His lawyer released a statement calling the divorce a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. The internet translated that to, "He's guilty." Behind the headlines, insiders whispered about something far bigger than infidelity. Allegedly, Wendy had discovered encrypted bank transfers linked to shell companies set up during their so-called joint projects. One anonymous accountant claimed, "There's enough paper trail here to wallpaper a mansion." That was the first spark. The second came from a Bravo producer who leaked that Wendy's team had refused to film any more joint confessionals weeks before the filing. "She looked done," the producer said, "like she'd rehearsed this exit for months." By nightfall, even Edward's business partners were jumping ship. One luxury real estate investor quietly scrubbed his Instagram of every picture with him. Another posted a cryptic story. Karma cashes its own checks. And then came the bombshell nobody saw coming, an alleged audio recording dated 2 months before the divorce. A female voice, calm, unmistakably Wendy, was heard saying, "I'm collecting everything. When I leave, I'm leaving no doubt." The file spread faster than wildfire. Fans replayed it frame by frame, analyzing background noises, trying to identify the clicking of high heels against marble floors. For once, the internet was united. Wendy wasn't the victim anymore. She was the strategist. Talk show commentators dubbed her the Professor of Petty. Memes showed her in courtroom robes holding a gavel with the caption, "Class dismissed, Edward." Even celebrities joined in. One rapper posted, "Wendy's giving masterclass energy. Get that tuition, sis." But while timelines laughed, Edward's camp panicked. Someone leaked internal emails between his lawyer and a private investigator. The subject line read, "Crisis control, find leverage." Leverage against Wendy? Good luck with that. Insiders claim that's when the betrayal part of the story started to take shape. Reporters unearthed old charity records under Edward's name, donations that looped through offshore accounts and landed right back in his personal foundation. Suddenly, the philanthropist husband narrative looked more like creative accounting. The gossip networks turned it into a spectacle. Analysts on morning TV held printouts like crime scene maps, read stringing connections between Edward Osefo Holdings and suspiciously timed withdrawals. One anchor deadpanned, "You can't spell romance without scam if you rearrange enough letters." Through it all, Wendy kept quiet. No interviews, no live streams, just calculated silence. Every hour she stayed silent, speculation grew louder. Was she negotiating, waiting for the right headline to drop, or preparing a bigger reveal? Then, around midnight, a new post appeared on her Instagram story. A boomerang of a pen signing something, captioned simply, "Freedom. Looks better on me." And that's when it clicked. This wasn't heartbreak, it was rebranding. Fans dissected every frame of her story like forensic experts. They noticed the reflection in the pen's metal clip, stacks of documents, a lawyer's cufflink, and a faint glimpse of Edward's signature on the top page. Internet detectives screamed victory. By morning, TMZ's headline read, "Wendy's mic drop divorce. He signed. She smiled." But even that wasn't the full story. According to one insider, an assistant who allegedly quit the couple's firm the week before the filing, Wendy had been tipped off months earlier. A mysterious package arrived at her office containing USB drives labeled "Private Ledger." She thought it was fan mail until she opened the first file and saw her husband's initials next to transfers routed through Caribbean accounts. That's when the switch flipped. The assistant claims Wendy didn't cry. She just whispered, "Got him," and called her lawyer. From that moment, she started documenting everything. Late-night calls, sudden bank closures, even Edward's off-the-grid weekends. Every detail went into what she jokingly called her divorce dossier. Friends say she started sleeping better after that. "It was like she'd already left," one said. "The papers were just a formality." And when those papers finally hit the court clerk's desk, the city felt the shockwave. Talk radio hosts opened lines for callers to share their Wendy-inspired revenge stories. One said, "I threw his PlayStation out the window in solidarity." The movement had begun. Still, the million-dollar question lingered. What was the final straw? That answer arrived courtesy of a leak from an unnamed paralegal. Allegedly, one of Edward's business meetings had been booked at a five-star hotel in Miami under Wendy's corporate credit card. The receipt? Champagne, 2 dinners, and a single-room suite. Date? 2 weeks before their anniversary. Game over. When tabloids confronted Edward outside his gym, he mumbled, "No comment," while fumbling with his car keys. The video got looped into slow-motion memes with captions like, "When your lies can't find the ignition." For Wendy, the optics were perfect. Every frame made her look calmer, smarter, more in control. The woman once branded as too emotional for TV had become the symbol of composure. As one fan tweeted, "She's not heartbroken, she's headline ready." And that's where the story picks up its next gear, the investigation. Because according to anonymous insiders at the Maryland courthouse, Wendy didn't just file for divorce. She attached evidence exhibits, bank statements, voice recordings, even screenshots labeled Proof A through Proof F. If what's inside those folders ever becomes public, this won't just end a marriage, it might end Edward's entire brand. And that's where part 1 ends, with Wendy. Walking out of that courthouse, manila folder in hand, paparazzi flashes bouncing off her sunglasses, while Edward's empire quietly trembles in the distance. The courthouse doors hadn't even stopped swinging before the whispers began. She filed it with evidence, someone said. Like, real evidence. Within hours, the clerk's office became the new Area 51. Reporters swarming, paralegals ducking behind desks, and someone allegedly offering a janitor $500 for a peek at the sealed attachments. But nothing leaked. Not yet. And that silence was louder than any headline. Because everyone knew what came next. The investigation. By the next morning, a new storm hit social media. A verified gossip account posted, "Breaking, Wendy's divorce filing may trigger a full-blown financial probe." The post hit 2 million views in an hour. News anchors said "may" like it was already fact. Then came the leaks. A self-proclaimed insider from the Osefo circle emailed several outlets a screenshot of an encrypted chat thread allegedly between Edward and a man identified only as C. The messages were short but damning. C. She's asking too many questions. Did you clean the ledger? Edward. Relax. Everything's rerouted. She won't trace it. C. Unless someone helps her. The internet went feral. Who was C? Who was helping her? And more importantly, what ledger? Conspiracy threads sprouted overnight. Some users insisted C stood for consultant. Others argued it was code for client. One bold theory suggested it was an alias for a former business partner who'd turned whistleblower. The kind of theory that gets a million retweets and zero evidence. Meanwhile, Wendy stayed silent again. And that silence? It wasn't weakness. It was marketing. Every hour she said nothing, her followers grew by thousands. People called it the Osefo effect. PR experts wrote think pieces about her strategic stillness. Wendy doesn't react. She reloads, one article declared. But while the internet debated theories, something was quietly brewing behind closed doors. Federal investigators reportedly began re-examining the Osefo Foundation's financials. What was once considered a flashy charity for educational empowerment suddenly looked like a shell for luxury assets and personal expenses. One anonymous tipster told a blogger they paid for a Paris trip through a scholarship fund. The blogger laughed, then posted it. By lunch, #Paris Scholarship trended globally. Sponsors started pulling out faster than you could say brand crisis. A fragrance company paused its partnership with Edward, releasing a single-line statement. "We believe in transparency." Translation: "He's toxic now." Even former allies began scrambling. A real estate influencer, once seen vacationing with Edward, quietly archived all posts featuring him. When fans noticed, she responded in the comments, "Let's just say I know too much now." It was open season on Edward Osefo. Then came Wendy's move number 2, her interview. 7 days after the filing, she appeared on a dimly lit studio set, wearing black, no jewelry, no makeup, except eyeliner sharp enough to cut glass. The host barely finished saying, "Welcome back," before Wendy leaned forward and dropped her bomb. "I kept quiet for too long. He wasn't protecting me. He was protecting what he built off my name." The internet froze. Clips of that one line hit TikTok, X, and YouTube within minutes. Edits popped up with cinematic music and captions like, "The moment the Queen reclaimed her throne." But the real drama came when Wendy pulled out her phone and pressed play on a 20-second voice note. Edward's voice echoed through the speakers, saying, "Move the balance before she checks." Cue Internet Explosion, Part 2. In the hours after the broadcast, a so-called forensic audio analyst appeared on another channel claiming the file was authentic. "It's not deep-faked," he said confidently. "That's his tone, his inflection, his pattern." Edward's lawyers called the file a manipulated fabrication. But by then, no one cared. Truth doesn't matter online, virality does. And Wendy's video? 48 million views in 12 hours. Fans celebrated like it was a national holiday. Meme pages crowned her Saint Wendy of Betrayal. Edits of her walking out of court to Beyoncé's Sorry racked up millions of likes. But for Edward, the damage wasn't just digital. It was financial. One of his company's accounts was reportedly frozen pending audit. Anonymous employees leaked internal memos marked Emergency Crisis Management Protocol. One line read, "Avoid any statement that may confirm or deny current investigations." Translation, they were cooked. Still, Edward tried to fight back. 2 days later, he went live from what looked like a rental condo, attempting a redemption arc. He spoke softly, dramatically sighing between every sentence, saying things like, "You know, marriage is complicated. People say things in anger." It might have worked if the internet hadn't zoomed in on the background, because right behind him, half visible on a dresser, was a framed photo of the same blurred woman from the leaked dinner video. And that's when the audience switched from sympathy to popcorn. The comment section turned into a crime scene. Bro can't even cheat smart. He's giving PowerPoint presentation energy with that fake sincerity. You left evidence on your dresser. Every influencer, podcaster, and reaction YouTuber went live dissecting every frame. Edward had become the meme. The downfall was complete, but the real storm hit when Wendy's attorney held a press conference. The man looked calm, confident, and one sentence away from detonating Edward's whole empire. "My client has provided financial documentation showing asset transfers and falsified invoices connected to Mr. Osefo's holdings." Gasps, flashing cameras, chaos. Then came the phrase that instantly became a soundbite. "We will cooperate with any federal review that follows." Boom. That single line turned Wendy's divorce into a national investigation. Cable news picked it up by the hour. Morning shows discussed the cultural implications of televised betrayal. TikTok lawyers analyzed screenshots frame by frame. Twitter detectives dug up trademark filings from 2019, claiming Edward had predicted this by registering solo ownership of one of their joint brands. As one tweet put it, he trademarked freedom before she even knew she needed it. Even government officials began hinting at interest. A senator's aide allegedly told a journalist, "If the allegations touch charity funding, it's a serious issue." Translation, subpoenas might be next. Meanwhile, Edward's silence turned into suspicion. His legal team canceled all media appearances. His last post on social media was 3 days old, a blurry quote card that read, "Sometimes silence is peace." The top comment? "Or guilt." Wendy, on the other hand, leaned into her power. She posted a black and white photo of herself holding her children's hands outside the courthouse. Caption, "Peace isn't given, it's filed." That image became the visual symbol of her rebirth. News outlets printed it on front pages. A magazine cover ran the headline, "From reality star to reality check." But behind that calm exterior, insiders claimed she was planning her next strike. Her lawyers had reportedly prepared a civil damages claim against Edward. Not for money, but for moral and reputational harm. Translation, she wanted public accountability. And that's where the tension started to climb again. Because if the rumors about Edward's hidden investors were true, her civil case could expose people far beyond their marriage. High-end developers, silent donors, maybe even a few political names. One anonymous aide told an entertainment blog, "If those documents go public, a lot of powerful people are going to have very bad Mondays." Meanwhile, anonymous texts started circulating among journalists. Screenshots showed supposed threats sent to Wendy's PR team from unknown numbers reading, "Stop digging, or you'll regret it." Of course, she didn't stop. She doubled down. Her team released a teaser for a tell-all interview titled, "Freedom, the Story Behind the Silence." The promo showed flashes of headlines, Edward's blurred silhouette, and Wendy's voice saying, "The truth was always in my hands." The clip ended with one word, "Tomorrow." That single teaser broke the internet again. Freedom. Interview trended top 5 globally. Every outlet booked airtime, every commentator had an opinion. And that's where part 2 closes. The night before that interview airs. The stage is set, the world is watching, and both sides know. When the next sunrise hits, somebody's reputation isn't coming back. The morning of the interview felt like Judgment Day. Social feeds went silent, hashtags paused mid-trend, and even the news anchors dropped their polite smiles. The clock ticked toward 8 p.m., the premiere of Freedom, the story behind the silence. Every TV and every lounge, salon, and restaurant seemed tuned in. Wendy Osefo wasn't just about to speak, she was about to detonate. The intro music rolled, a slow, haunting piano over images of flashing cameras and legal documents. Then the camera cut to Wendy. Sitting in that sleek studio chair, dressed in all white, she looked calm enough to terrify anyone who'd wronged her. The host spoke first, his tone careful. "Wendy, you've been quiet for weeks. Why now?" She leaned forward. Because silence became a weapon. He thought if I stayed quiet, he'd keep control. A pause. Then she added, "But I've always been louder in silence than he ever was in lies." Twitter exploded before she even finished the sentence. Louder in silence trended instantly. The host slid a folder across the table. "Is this the evidence everyone's talking about?" Wendy smiled, not sweetly, but like someone who'd already won the game. "It's part of it," she said. "What's inside those pages shows the real reason I filed. The betrayal wasn't emotional, it was financial, and it was deliberate." Cue the collective gasp of 1 million viewers. The camera zoomed in as Wendy opened the folder. Inside were printed bank statements, emails, and a signed document bearing Edward's name. She tapped her manicured finger on a line highlighted in red. "This," she said, "is a fake consultancy invoice. $10,000 paid to a company that doesn't exist, filed under my name." The host blinked. "You're saying Edward forged your signature?" "I'm saying he turned our marriage into a business, and I was the product." Somewhere in another state, Edward was probably throwing his remote at the wall. The internet broke. Reaction channels went live within minutes, streaming the episode with commentary. One creator said, "This isn't an interview, it's an execution." Then came the footage nobody expected. Wendy pulled out her phone, connected it to the studio screen, and played a short clip. The screen flickered, then showed security footage from what looked like a luxury hotel corridor. Edward walked past the camera, followed by the same blurred woman from earlier leaks. The timestamp? The same night Wendy had hosted a charity gala alone. "I was raising money for families," Wendy said softly. "He was raising glasses with her." The room fell silent. Even the host didn't speak. The only sound was the collective sound of millions of jaws hitting the floor. Cut to Edward's reaction, because of course, someone filmed it. Paparazzi outside his condo captured him pacing on his balcony, phone pressed to his ear, shouting words the microphones couldn't catch. But his face said it all. Panic, rage, realization. As the interview continued, Wendy shifted from sorrow to precision. She named shell companies, dates, and specific accounts tied to luxury items allegedly purchased with charity funds, designer watches, private flights, and even a yacht deposit. The host asked, "So, you're alleging embezzlement?" Wendy didn't blink. "I'm stating facts." The audience lost it. Some clapped, others cried. The internet crowned her the face of righteous vengeance. But Wendy wasn't finished. She leaned back, took a breath, and dropped the final bomb. "There's one more thing," she said. "He wasn't acting alone." Cue the dramatic music. The host raised an eyebrow. "Are you saying there's someone else involved?" "I'm saying there were people who knew, people who benefited, and I have proof." That single line sent shockwaves through industries. The gossip blogs melted, commentators speculated names, politicians, influencers. No one was safe. Meanwhile, Edward's legal team scrambled to respond. Within 30 minutes of the broadcast, his attorney released a statement claiming Wendy was fabricating a narrative for attention. It didn't help. Every network aired the clip of Wendy's calm reply, "If I wanted attention, I would have stayed married." Mic drop. By midnight, the interview had reached 80 million views. Sponsors who once stood behind Edward began issuing apologies. A bank announced a thorough review of its client relationships, and whispers of a federal audit turned into headlines by morning. The next day, reporters swarmed the courthouse again. Word spread that investigators had requested the same exhibits Wendy had shown on camera. A clerk told the press. She brought receipts, literally. Outside, fans gathered holding signs that read, "Justice for Wendy," and "Queens don't cry, they file." Edward, in contrast, was nowhere to be seen. Rumors claimed he'd flown out overnight to clear his head. Others said he was meeting with crisis managers. Either way, his empire was cracking. Then came the twist, because every good story has one. Late that afternoon, a whistleblower emailed a major outlet with digital copies of documents linking Edward's accounts to a real estate consortium operating overseas. And guess what? One of the names on the paperwork matched a familiar figure, someone from the couple's reality show circle. The blog titled it simply, "Betrayal Has Layers." Wendy's fans went wild. "She warned us," they said. "He wasn't working alone." It wasn't just gossip anymore. It had evolved into a saga, a televised downfall wrapped in moral justice. And amid the chaos, Wendy posted once more. A single, black screen with white text. "The divorce was my closure. The truth is my revenge." That post shattered records. 10 million likes in 2 hours. News outlets called it the quote of the year. Influencers stitched it with their own breakup stories. Psychologists analyzed it on morning TV. But even as the world cheered, Wendy disappeared again. No interviews, no tweets, no live sessions. She had said her piece. 2 days later, investigators confirmed they had officially opened a probe into Edward's finances. One official told a journalist off record, "We've got questions about millions that vanished between 2021 and 2023. And just like that, the scandal that began as a divorce had become a national case. Podcasts titled episodes The Osefo Files. Documentarians teased the fall of the power couple. Even Netflix allegedly made a call. Meanwhile, fans outside the courthouse held vigil lights, chanting, "We believe Wendy." But behind all the spectacle, there was one scene that never aired. According to a crew member from the interview shoot, once the cameras stopped rolling, Wendy sat quietly for a moment, staring at the floor. Then she whispered, "He thought I'd fall apart. I learned to rebuild." That line never made the broadcast, but somehow it reached the blogs anyway, and it hit harder than any headline. Because that's what this whole saga was really about. Not just betrayal, or fraud, or fame. It was about a woman reclaiming her narrative in front of a world that had already written her obituary. When she finally stepped out of her townhouse again, paparazzi swarmed, asking if she had any message for Edward. She paused, looked straight into the camera and said, "I hope he learns what peace feels like when you can't buy it." The clip looped everywhere. Within hours, the phrase, "can't buy peace," became a cultural mantra. Meanwhile, Edward's assets were officially frozen, pending investigation. His last known public appearance was caught by a drone, boarding a black SUV, face buried under a hoodie, reporters shouting questions he didn't answer. As for Wendy, she started production on a documentary. Working title, Freedom Files. The teaser ends with her voice, calm and resolute. This isn't about revenge anymore, it's about record keeping. And that's how the curtain closes, on a marriage that began with red carpets and ended with red flags, on a love story that turned into a cautionary tale, and on a woman who turned betrayal into brand power. Because in Wendy's world, silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. The scandal might fade, but the message won't. Every viewer who watched that interview learned one thing: the truth doesn't whisper, it uploads. And somewhere out there, Edward's learning the hardest lesson of all. You can delete messages, hide money, even rewrite history. But you can't erase a woman who decided she's done with you. So here we are, standing in the ashes of a story that started as a fairy tale and ended as a full-blown fire. The world watched it unfold frame by frame, the lies, the receipts, the revenge. And now, as the dust settles, one question remains. Was this justice, Or was this war? Because let's be honest, Wendy didn't just file for divorce, she filed for closure in public view, under fluorescent courthouse lights, with millions of witnesses pressing refresh. This wasn't heartbreak, this was strategy, streamed in 4K. She didn't lose everything, she liquidated her pain and made profit from the fallout. And Edward? He's the ghost haunting his own reputation, proof that you can run from accountability, but not from a trending hashtag. The deeper truth? Every betrayal leaves data, every secret leaves a screenshot, and every lie leaves a digital fingerprint waiting to be exposed. So here's the real question, for you, the viewer still sitting there, jaw dropped and popcorn empty. When the next scandal drops, whose side will you be on? The truth teller or the trend? Because this saga isn't over. The files are still open, the footage still rolling, and somewhere out there, another story is loading. And if you've learned anything from Wendy Osefo, it's this. Silence may protect reputations, but speaking up builds legacies. If you want the next chapter, the Freedom Files, the leaked calls, the inside confessions, drop a comment saying, "Next." Hit that subscribe, smash that like, and keep notifications on. Because the next leak? It's going to change everything you thought you knew.